Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Martha from Martha Is. Today's video is part 3 in my April book haul. Well, Martha, but it's May, it's nearly June. What do you mean it's an April book haul? Well, what happened was that I have had a bit of a break from filming YouTube videos, just due to time and work, etc. And in that time, I was receiving a number of books that I actually ordered in April. So I was going to call it May because we're in May, but the reality of it is all of these books that I'm going to show you I ordered in April or even was sent in April. So April, it's happening. So without further ado, let's crack on. So with some of my previous haul videos, I've kind of been structuring it as where I bought these from because as you know, and I keep going on about like a broken record, I am concerned about independent bookshops and independent booksellers weathering the current crisis. So I have been buying from them with abandon. And so the first one I'm going to talk about is Back to Books. So I've talked about Back to Books on my channel quite a few times. She is my friend Alexia, who is an independent bookseller based in Birmingham. And she focuses on books that are really kind of intersectional feminism, LGBTQ, people of colour, that kind of book. And so she advertised that she was selling a collection of books called Outspoken by Pluto Press. So you've got 4 books. So this one is Feminism Interrupted, Mask Off, Class Divides, and Behind Closed Doors. So these 4 books, and what they are is essentially these short books about, I guess, yeah, kind of what would be classed as outspoken ideas. So Feminism Interrupted I am reviewing because I have already read it, so I will talk about this more, or have already talked about this more, who knows, in a wrap-up video, so I won't go into too much detail about that, but this is essentially about radical intersectional feminism and speaking out against kind of mainstream white liberal feminism. And then you have Split by Ben Tippett, which is about the class divide. I am really curious to read this one because I recognise as a middle class woman, class is very much a blind spot for me. I know I've absorbed a lot of the narratives that say that all you have to do to be successful in life is just work hard enough. So, class is not really a thing. Class is not a barrier. You just need to work harder. And I recognise that, and I catch myself when I think that, because that is absolutely not the case. We are a very class-driven society in the UK, and class creates a lot of barriers, and middle-class people tend to mainly help themselves, and upper-class people even worse. So so I'm really interested to read this one. And then we have Mask Off, Masculinity Redefined by J.J. Bowler. So I've read a book, a fiction book that J.J. Bowler has written, which I enjoyed. And I found his, and I've listened to him on podcasts. I can't remember which podcast. But I've listened to him on a podcast when he was talking about language and how language is, the colonial undertones of language and how how white people speak to black people and the the language around that. And so I find him very interesting to listen to. So when I saw that he had written one about masculinity, I was like, yes please. And then the 4th one of the set is Behind Closed Doors by Natalie Fines, which is a book about sex education. So this is about how, so she says here that if Me Too has taught us anything, it's how dangerous it is to keep conversations about sex hidden from view. Behind Closed Doors invests in a radical, inclusive and honest sex education, taking us beyond learning about the birds and the bees to identifying inequality that stands in the way of sexual freedom. Yes. I mean, God, I think about the sex education that I had at my school was absolutely woeful. I mean, I don't even really remember. I feel like maybe I remember one lesson. And I mean, I also went to a private girls' school, so as you can imagine, it was a bit woeful. But yeah, so I'm definitely really interested in engaging with anything like that. I think we definitely need to be having much more honest conversations about sex. And then the 4th book that I bought from Back to Books was The Moss House. So this is a historical fiction. So if you're at all familiar with Anne Lister, so there was recently a a TV show, a historical TV show about Anne Lister called Gentleman Jack. So Sharon Jones played Anne Lister, and so this is a fiction based on a similar, based on Anne Lister again and her life, but it is fiction. But I think it sounds really interesting. So Anne Lister was someone, she was a lesbian in a time many years ago. I can't remember when it was set. I want to say 1700s. Who knows? Obviously a time when, you know, you can't really come out as being a lesbian. And she would, based on the TV show that I've seen, she would dress in kind of male clothes. And yeah, so she was quite an interesting historical lesbian figure, let's put it that way. And so this is about Anne Lister and Miss Walker, who were in a relationship together, and they retreat to the Moss House, a private sanctuary away from disapproving eyes. So I think it's kind of, you know, going to be like a historical lesbian romance, that I'm absolutely here for. And then we have, those are all the books that I bought from Back to Brum. Then we have another few books that I bought from Mr. B's Reading Emporium, which I go on about all the time. It's one of my absolute favourite independent bookshops. So I bought The Women of Brewster Place by Gloria Naylor. So this is our May book for Do the Work Book Club, which I will link down below. I'm a co-host of a book club where we read works by BAME authors. And I also have reviewed this, or will review this, depending on which order I publish the videos in my mid-month May wrap-up, so I won't talk about this in too much detail. But I bought this from Mr. B's, and this is actually published by a publishing house, Fox, Finch and Tepper, which is started by the people who own Mr. B's. So it's just meta Mr. B's all over the place. But it's a cracking book, so buy that. And I love this cover, like, love it. Yeah, so well done, Mr. B's, on all fronts. And then I bought two more. So when the Women's Prize shortlist was announced, I decided that I would still quite like to read it. So you might have seen, if you've watched a previous video of mine, when the long list was announced, I was kind of umming and ahhing, like, do I read the Women's Prize long list? Do I read the Jalek Prize long list? Oh, I'll read both. Of course, I didn't read both. I mainly read from the Jalek Prize long list. But then the shortlist was announced, and actually I own almost all of the books that are on the shortlist, if not all of the books, and have read one or two, I think. So I decided, because also it got extended to September, so they're not announcing the winner until September, I thought I've got plenty of time, I might as well read the shortlist. I have not started, but there's still plenty of time. And so the one I bought, which I didn't have, was Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. And I will also admit, I bought this because Simon Savage from Savage Reads was raving about it. Emily from Busy Mama Book Club on Instagram raving about it. Everyone is raving about it. So I think a lot of people are kind of tipping this as the potential winner. So I should read it. And I'm going to read it. I've never read any fiction from Maggie O'Farrell. I've only read her memoir, I Am, which was very, very good. So I would recommend that. But I'm really interested to see what this is like. And then the other book that I bought from Mr. B's was The Switch by Beth O'Leary. So The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary was my absolute favourite of 2019. So I bought this. That's all there is to it. And then we have this one, which was so kindly gifted to me, a total surprise. My friend Jenna, who is Book Club Mama on Instagram, she sent this to me. It's so adorable. So this is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. And last month, I read Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman and flipping loved it. Thought it was absolutely brilliant. And this is the prequel to that. And one day, this arrived at my door, and it was because Jenna so left me a note saying that she wanted her copy of it to go to a good home. So that was just such a lovely, lovely surprise, and I look forward to reading that. I've heard some very good things about this, and I've heard that this is a bit more, a little bit closer to the vibe of the film, which I really love the film Practical Magic, and I will also link my video down below, which is comparing the book and the film as part of the Reading Women Challenge. So, but yes, thank you very much, Jenna. That is utterly adorable. And then the last four that I want to talk about, I purchased from a little publisher called Jacaranda. So Jacaranda is a publisher that I think only publishes people of colour, I think, or certainly from an African heritage, African diaspora, and they have done a set of books. So I think 2020, and I'm really sorry, I cannot remember what the hashtag is. Maybe I can find it here. Yes, 20 in 2020, a Jacaranda collaboration with Words of Colour Productions is the first time a UK publisher will publish 20 Black British writers in 1 year. There you go, Black British writers. And so I bought the first 4 of that series, the 20 in 2020, that have been published, and I bought them direct from Jacaranda. I would actually really recommend in this time, in this unprecedented time, trying to support indie publishers. You know, a lot of them you can buy books directly from them, so do. And also buy from independent booksellers. So first one is Through the Leopard's Gaze by Njambi McGrath. So this is fiction, I think. Well, maybe not. The character is called Njambi, so maybe it's a memoir. I should have prepped this. I will absolutely concede that I should have prepped this and did not. Okay, so this is either fiction or a memoir. And I have no way of determining which it is. So let's move on. But I love the cover of this. Yep, so that was number 1 from 20 in 2020. Then you've got Lot by Shola von Reinhold. So this is a queer kind of avant-garde book. I don't know if I've ever read an avant-garde book, but I think it sounds really interesting. I think it's the sort of book that is probably totally outside of your comfort zone. But I think that is very much a good thing. And it's reviewed as a dazzling first novel, a mischievous new work of aesthetic theory, as well as a glorious and gorgeously imagined fictional world. So, interesting. We'll see how that is like. Then we have Under Solomon Skies by Bernie Sorga Millwood. And this is based on a true story about childhood schoolmates living in the Solomon Islands. They set out on a routine boat trip to a neighbouring island, and things go awry when they discover, due to an oversight by Tony, that they do not have enough fuel to make the journey and are stranded at sea. So that could possibly be absolutely terrifying. So at the heart, this is a crucial and important novel on climate change, culture and human relations. So that's Under Solomon Skies. And then the final one is a I think this one actually is a memoir. I am so sorry. I have not done any preparation for this, and it absolutely shows. This is appalling. I think this one is a memoir. So this is The Space Between Black and White by Eshuansiwa Jane Goldsmith. Raised in 1950s, South London and Norfolk with a white working-class family, Eshua's education in racial politics was immediate and personal. From Britain and Scandinavia to Italy and Tanzania, she tackled inequality wherever she saw it, establishing an inspiring legacy in the women's lib and black power movements. Plagued by questions of her heritage and the inability to locate all pieces of herself, she embarks on a journey to Ghana to find the father who may have the answers. A tale of love, comradeship and identity, Eshua's rise to the first black woman president of Leicester University Students' Union and queen mother of her village is inspiring, honest and full of heart. I mean, that sounds amazing. Bit of a chunkster. 576 pages. But I think, yeah, that one sounds absolutely amazing. So I completely recognise that those 4 I've done an absolutely atrocious job of selling, and so I can only apologise. But absolutely go and look it up yourself. I will link them all down below. This is the 20 reads in 2020. Just 20 in 2020. God's sake, Martha. 20 in 2020 from Jacaranda. Go and look them up. And I will certainly be buying the other ones as they come out, because I love the whole project and really want to support that. So, that is, I think, all of the books I bought / ordered in April. I will have a May book haul at some point. I hope that it's going to be a short one because my friend put me on a book buying ban as part of Pages for Periods. So Pages for Periods is a fundraising challenge that I'm doing until the 26th of May. I don't know when I'm putting this out. Could have already been finished. Who knows? But I will link it down below if you're interested. But my friend basically said she would double her donation if I didn't buy any books throughout the duration of the challenge. And I haven't, but I have still had books because people have sent me some books, and very kind people have sent me books. So I did not buy any, but I have still received some. So I will do another video, but it will be a short one, I'm sure. And I'm going to stop rambling now. I am. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I realise it was a bit meandering, not very well prepared. I will link all the details of all of the books down below. Let me know what you've been buying, what booksellers I should be supporting. Let me know. You know, I'm always on the hunt for new bookshops to start supporting. And I hope you're all doing very well. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you again soon. Bye!